Welcome Port Harcourt and welcome to the STARTITUP Show, where we believe startups from Port Harcourt can take on the world. It's a very happy year. The year is starting off on a good foot, and a lot of good things are happening on my end, and I'm waiting for fuel to add to it. Yes,
that's a good one.
Amongst all the troubles I have right now,
I
think as soon as petrol comes down, the blessing will be complete.
Do you think it will come down?
I hope so.
Dangote is focusing on diesel and aeroplane jet fuel. He's not focusing on petrol.
I heard so, but I'm
But
hoping
it will be good, because if it comes down, means production companies, the cost of production will drop. If
would
diesel
also drop.
comes
Yes,
down,
yes.
then they can now pay us better.
Yeah,
that kind of thing.
Because most of the industrial is use diesel,
Yes.
so that will help a lot. Thank you very much. Okay, so welcome Port Harcourt, and this is the STARTITUP Show, and we are going to be talking about something very important for us in this quarter of the year, and we'll be talking about tech money. Tech money for the whole of the first quarter of the year on the STARTITUP Show. We have all been hearing about tech money, and yes, there's a lot of money in tech, but some of us are still looking for it. And some people are asking, is there really money in tech? I see a lot of tech people around, but I don't really see the money. Yet I hear of a lot of money in tech. So for the first quarter of the year, we'll be looking at how we can make money genuinely online without leaving the comfort of our home, or without even being a graduate or one serious professional. But you can just be online on your phone or your laptop, and you can make money to sustain yourself. And these ways to make money are very primary, basic, with a low barrier to entry. So our topic for today is tech money with ghostwriting. Being a ghostwriter online and how you can make money with it. So now ghostwriting is not entirely tech, but you can make millions from ghostwriting because you use tech. I said millions, yes. In previous topics, we've talked about how you can do anything you really want to do, but just apply a touch of tech, and then it can make it easier, it can make it faster, it can make it more accurate and delivered better just because you added tech. So on today's show, let's see the truth around it, and let's understand how it works to be a ghostwriter from the comfort of your home and make money. Our special guest today is, they are seasoned, we have two guests today. They are seasoned poets, right? They are ghostwriters, they are authors, and they understand how words convert to cash. Welcome, Dr. Orike Didi.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me today.
Yeah, welcome on the show, welcome on the show. And then we also have a usual suspect. We can call him a usual suspect because he's always on the airwaves and he has a lot of command when it comes to words and poetry. And that's Chiwike David. Welcome on the show.
Yeah, it's Chiwike David Oku, aka Lyrical Pontiff, and you have esoteric mellows next to you won't make up esoteric mellows. So.
Esoteric mellows, okay.
Looks more like another invasion. But it's okay, it's good.
Okay, so being poets and authors and writers, right? It's a world of creativity in words. And so when your words are put into creativity and someone else cannot do that, it becomes a value that someone is willing to pay for. Either those words are presented as poems, and then somebody that cannot put those words together is ready to pay for it, or those words are carved into messages that someone would make a sale from, and then they're willing to pay for it. Or those words are carved into articles that people would read to learn something new, and then it becomes value that somebody is ready to pay for, right? I'm not a writer, and the only reason I'm not a writer is not because I cannot write, but it's because I've not studied the arts of how to use words to create different kind of messages, different kind of meanings, and put so much creativity to words. So I want you to please tell us, right, what is it like to be in that world where your words can be crafted into anything that creates any value to people?
Okay,
Well, I think the first thing we have to do is to define who's a ghostwriter. And from there, we'll be able to know what a ghostwriter actually does.
Okay.
A ghostwriter is a person who puts down words and makes up sentences, because alphabets make up words, and then words make up sentences.
Yeah.
and does not take direct authorship of that.
Okay.
So when
it's not the author, but
it's
he
not
wrote
the
it.
author, but he wrote it.
Yeah.
They are very, very common among people in power who write speeches, like speech writers. A governor will go out, a local government chairman will go out to read a speech, but apparently it's not written by him because he has never had time to sit down to read, to write that speech. So he doesn't, like I said, he doesn't take direct authorship, but he gets, something outside it. But let me stop there and let you make a comment.
Well, he said everything right. One thing to add is just to say ghostwriting is when a writer creates content on behalf of someone else who will be credited as the author. So if I create content for someone that will be credited as the author, I'm a ghostwriter, and the idea is that the ghostwriter will capture the client's voice and ideas when producing such materials, either by writing, when we're talking about books, or doing something like articles, speeches, and let's say. But the truth is, I want to receive public credit for that.
Okay, so I'll write the entire book, I'll write the article, but I will not be the owner of that material.
No, I won't receive credit. Okay, let me just give an example. One of the biggest pay I've gotten from writing is ghostwriting, because someone went through near-death experience and it was so terrible, so many operations and procedures in the US and everything. When she came back and was planning for the Thanksgiving, she then said, no, I can't just come out and give a testimony like that. I need to put it in writing. She's a good writer, no doubt, but she's wanted it to be kind of poetic and stuff like that. So she needed someone to write it,
to
do something better here.
Okay.
She can write it, but it won't be as good as she wants.
Okay.
Sometimes she might want something and you cannot give yourself that. So she wanted someone to make it a bit poetic and stuff that when people read it, even if she dies tomorrow, her grandchildren will read her experience.
Okay.
So they want it to be thick, so her grandchildren will say, because who knows how writing will be in the next 50 years or this. Okay. So she wants it to be that rich. So she contacted the ghostwriter, and the ghostwriter charged her, and she was like, is that only? And then the ghostwriter then said, okay, these are the other things that will happen and everything. So she narrated the story. But what you should understand that one thing with ghostwriting is that there is a lot of confidentiality in it.
Okay, so you're not supposed to expose the fact that you wrote the book.
Yeah.
So that's how we hear something like the ghostwriter and listen, so that you.
Yeah. One more thing about ghostwriting is I'll cite some examples.
Okay.
Like the work written on Hillary Clinton, his autobiography. It's not actually an autobiography. It was written by a ghostwriter.
Her own.
Okay,
yes, and the person took $500,000 for it. Okay. Most of the works written by our political gladiators are not written by them.
Like the one Obasanjo
wrote. Apparently, he's not the one who wrote it. Because
the book written by Obasanjo.
I'm not sure it was written by him.
Even the memo, that one, the memo. I think these people are too busy, and even if you have a PhD in zoology, you might not write in. You need somebody, a ghostwriter, to make it such that. But in some cases, you can see how the ghostwriter might appear as the editor.
Okay.
Then you just see edited by that person.
But this book would still represent the exact idea,
ideals,
and principles of the original.
Of course.
Owner.
What the ghostwriter does is gets close to you, sits with you, and you tell your story.
Okay.
You tell your story, and then he goes to re-represent your idea in a better version, in a better form.
Okay, can I link it up to something? Is it like the case of what happens when someone writes another person's story and is shot in a movie?
No.
Like something happens and then you say, I would want to shoot a movie about what happened.
No. The movies capture all the roles. Like in movies, you will see a producer, you will see a director, you will see a screenwriter and all that stuff. But then they take their glories. But for ghostwriting, you don't even appear in the picture. You only maybe get your cash and step back.
Okay, so how much how do I charge for ghostwriting first? Like if I'm a ghostwriter right now, how much would I charge for ghostwriting?
Okay, let me just say this way. There are a lot of ghostwriters everywhere.
$1 million?
If you go to the universities, you see people writing some of these mercenaries, writing essays, writing projects, writing different things for students.
Oh, okay, those are ghostwriters.
That's one way you see
ghostwriters. Something very popular recently, not recent. Okay, Dr. Dre's song "Still Dre."
Yeah, Still Dre.
Yeah.
It was written by a ghostwriter, But the ghostwriter didn't come out to say anything about it until Snoop now revealed who the ghostwriter was. The song was a big hit. He wrote Dre's verse, Snoop's verse, all the everything. He wrote everything, but he didn't take glory for it. He just Sean, and his name is Sean Carter. Jay-Z.
Okay.
Jay-Z wrote it and codedly went behind, didn't reveal to anybody that he wrote it. Nobody knew for years that it was Jay who wrote that song, the entire verse.
People like Neo,
And then
Pharrell.
there are plenty like that.
In
who
fact,
write
just
songs.
that in Nigeria, our things are different. In Nigeria, the idea of ghostwriting is I'll have a record label, I'll bring a lot of talented artists under it. They will then give me their recorded songs. If I like this song, I will then say, okay, the list I'll do, they don't write, is I'll then remove the person's vocals and put my vocal or my preferred artist vocal on it. And I'll settle the person.
So what I'll go back to my question again,
Yeah.
because there are some people listening right now and begin to conceptualize the idea of ghostwriting. Like I could write for anybody. I don't need to take credit. I could write for a lot of people and make money from the comfort of my home.
Yeah,
And then you
How
may also decide not to make money at all from it.
true.
You're just helping somebody to do something.
No, our topic is don't take money, so we want to make sure there's some value passed in this case. So money component is still there. So if I'm doing this writing from the comfort of my home, I've not done it before. I'm just hearing about it and I want to do it. How do I charge? That is the question. How do I charge someone?
Since you haven't done it before, you have to start by doing it, and then you gain some notoriety in the industry, and then you start charging money based on that. But you have to be exclusive. You don't, like I said, Jay-Z did not tell anybody.
Yes, it has to be exclusive, but how does the pricing go?
You won't go back and
Well,
anybody.
there's no scale of fee, professional scale of fee for ghostwriting, but it goes with value. And when I'm talking about value, if the Nigerian government or the president even wants you to write Nigerian national anthem, you're not going to start telling him 1.5 million or let's say 2 million to write the national anthem for Nigeria, the new national anthem for Nigeria. You're talking of serious money. Now we're talking
You're
about,
asking for an oil block.
yeah, someone met me. Someone met me, and that he told me something in his head that there's this movie. Although all this as about Hollywood standard, like there's this movie he wants to write, but he can't just conclude it. He doesn't know how to make the end good, end well, and the rest. I said, okay, it's even good because most movies they don't end well and they still produce them. Okay, now my work is to make it end well. I then look at the beginning that the foundation had issues. Let me start afresh. So it was a full work. Normally, any writing job that my name is not there, I still charge my 5% for any whatever the profit, both streaming and everything. As that's the statutory fee. I think for me to charge at least a minimum of 5% of that whatever income it will generate.
What if there are articles that you're asked to ghostwrite for?
Yeah, no. It depends on
how would you charge?
I can write like when they're writing the author, the writer of that script, my name will not be there.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's why
How
I
would you
have to
charge?
Okay, my own depending on the length of the work and the what I'm putting.
Some people charge per word.
The story is coming. This is a story, but my work is to make the story end well.
But Chiwike, sorry, because some people charge per word.
Like the musicians like
some
Jeko.
people charge per page if it's
Okay.
full
Yeah.
per word.
Yeah,
Okay.
so
That's
I'm a minimalist. So if I charge per word, I might not really. I'm a word economist, so I might not really get it.
Don't get enough money from me.
What I'm looking at the stuff I'm putting inside.
Okay, I
If I'm
understand.
putting a lot of things like this, I'm talking about is a movie. So the dialogue, I have to create the screenplay. Yeah, there's a lot of dialogue and other.
You write screenplays too?
That's what, I'm just giving you that.
Okay, that's
but
good.
now writing the script, my name will not be there because this is the person wants the glory.
Okay.
So I think what I do charge is I charge the sins per sins. So at the end of the day, these people they don't really have models. They don't
You've
have
been
money.
avoiding how much since? So
Okay, the price. Any movie you're doing, I think you shouldn't charge less than 300. No matter, don't pity the person.
For the entire package of writing?
No, I'm talking of it's just a short movie.
Okay.
When I say 300,
How
I'm talking
about
about
articles, like for
minus
business
the basic one is the 5% of the listen.
Okay.
That 300 is just to help him
Of
end-
the royalties.
Yeah, of the royalties.
That comes after.
Yeah.
After maybe
Okay.
a
Yeah,
launch
that,
and
yeah.
all that.
So whatever he makes, so that 300 is just to help him end the movie.
okay, doctor, how much would you charge?
Well, because I write volumes, when I write maybe political essays, I take a lot in terms of. I've done a work. I shouldn't be saying this. In
You
the
should.
first
That's
place.
the thing. It's
That's
exclusive. It's personal.
I want to know.
that's
Because
a-
if I want to do ghostwriting, I want to know how much I can make.
You can say
money.
No,
it's
see,
just like I can say
see,
from 200 up. upwards, but there's no specific.
Bruce, I've never made I've not really made so much I don't charge in millions when it comes to go and perform poetry for 10 minutes and the rest like that. But I wrote something for somebody. The person just told me these are the things I passed through, and that charge was in millions. Just because of the confidentiality issue, I cannot just mention certain amounts. So what I'm saying is writing has its own there's some sensitivities in writing. When we're talking about pricing, the truth of the matter is that you have to look at the spending power of individuals. If not, there will be no activity of ghostwriting if you give them how you're supposed to charge. And most of these people, they are your friends. Most people don't see adverts for. Most people don't put out adverts. I'm looking for a ghostwriter. They look for who is close to who and the rest. For example,
so the confidentiality can still be maintained.
Yeah,
right? I want to ask a question now. Yeah. Sorry to cut in. Is it the same thing if, for example, you have a Graciano, he has this book, and then he decides to write another book, but in another name, like a pseudonym, like nobody, maybe John Smith. That's what he chooses to print, and that becomes an author, but it's still the same person. Is that still ghostwriting? Publishing in another name,
but that person doesn't exist.
Doesn't exist.
Technically, it's not ghostwriting. It's just using a pseudonym.
Okay.
Writers do it just to save it from
yes. Some people are brilliant.
We still talk about Shakespeare and the rest. That it wasn't. There was nobody called Shakespeare.
Okay, it was just the British that came about.
Says Francis Bacon. Somebody said
King Herod. King Henry. They're different human beings.
Okay, so now I'll come back.
Even James and the Chase was not written by one author. Different people, but just the name.
I like that.
Okay. This is the interesting part that gave birth to this topic, right? While I was thinking about this topic, I had to do some research online.
Okay.
And then I found out how much people are paid for ghostwriting. There's a website called People Per Hour, and they pay between $10 to $200. That's about 200,000 naira per hour for writing. We also have Web Loaded that pays about $250 per week. We have Talent Desire for $15 a day for you to write for somebody you don't know. You just write the articles and submit. They will go through it, ask you to rewrite certain paragraphs or ask you to make certain adjustments and submit again. Once your article is accepted, you're paid $15 per day. And then we also have freelancer.com that gives between $50 to $500. That's $500,000 for you to write for someone. ZipRecruiter claims to pay up to $50,000 for writing. And you're writing for companies, you're writing for authors,
magazines.
You're writing for magazines, you're writing different kind of stories for different people. And this is a huge amount of money running in millions.
If you go to Himalayas,
so if you're listening out there and you're looking at the new way you can make money this year, you can look at ghostwriting, which is just sitting down at home and then putting together words for a company or for an individual or for authors, and then getting paid in USD, getting paid in dollars. And all these websites and platforms are available online. It does not require any other thing than going on the internet, signing up on their platform, and you can see the different offers and you can write for any of these people. So let's take final words from everybody as we sign out.
Please.
Well, looking at it, I think if you expect people to meet you, especially if you're not a ghostwriter per se, but you can ghostwrite. I think you can go, especially foreign websites. You can just tell them, see this. I watched your episode. I did this. I have a suggestion. I can do this. I can write this episode for you. I can just there's a movie. I want to write this episode for you, and I can write it better.
Okay, you can write new episodes for those series.
Those series, and give them some examples, and that's good money. I know someone that did that. The person is based in Canada. The person just said it doesn't like the way these episodes they end like this. Let me write new storylines and the rest. And he wrote 13 of that of a full season. And that was how he got the job.
Okay, look.
For me, it's basically if you build pedigree.
Yeah.
From a first work and a second work, then it's easy for you because there was a biography I wrote of a personality that did some work in the labor unions in the 60s and 70s. And another of his friends saw the book, read it, and called me and said, I have something to tell the world.
Okay.
But eventually I took, because at a point in time I had to add flesh to that story. I had to take ownership of the work because there were some things that were personal that I was putting there. Otherwise,
Okay.
I could simply have ghostwritten and I could simply have ghostwritten and simply hand over the work to him. So it's all about building pedigree and then sitting down to do the real work itself.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you to our guests for today. This is a STARTITUP Show where we believe startups from Port Harcourt can take on the world, and we're on air every Tuesday 9:30 as it were. When we were on the show, we had a special guest walking, a very lovely young gentleman, Graciano, a seasoned poet and a ghostwriter. And we'll just take a last word from him before we sign out. Graciano, what do you have to say about ghostwriting?
I was very interested in talking about the fact that you cannot advertise yourself as a ghostwriter. That's the saddest part of being a ghostwriter. You can't say how good you are. Like, I've written songs that people vibe to on the street, and I'm tempted to tell them, let me write this song.
The ones you do.
But you can't.
You can't as a ghostwriter.
If you're a ghostwriter out there and you're looking for how to advertise how good you are, write your own book. Write your own song. Get somebody to sing it in your own name. That's how I wrote Sticks and Stones. I wanted people to know that I'm not just a poet, because people know me only as a poet. I wanted them to know that I write stories well. That was how I published Sticks and Stones, and I've gotten a lot of more deals doing that.
Thank you very much.
Okay, now we know you're a ghostwriter. Thank you very much.
I gotta
Thank
go.
you very much for your
Gotta go.
time.
Yeah.
This is Sign Out. See you next Tuesday.